My name is Jay. I come from Faculty of Architecture. Today I will talk about the idea of town bank in the specific area called 140 Broadway Plaza. 140 Broadway Plaza is like my selected area to do the research. As you can see from this area that this is the site. So you can see that the site is surrounded by a lot of financial institutions. So the district becomes like the financial district, which is very important for the city and also important for the investor and banker in the area. By considering all the people in that site, I categorize like two different kind of users. The red one represents the janitor, and the gray one represents the banker. So this kind of displays the conflict between two different kind of people in the site. So you can see that the janitor will stick around inside the building. They are not really go up a lot because they feel like they are not really belong to the space. While the banker who lives in the back, they have some kind of position and responsibility that they themselves. So they kind of be confident and start to like going around the place and going out from the building into the public area and also to the public space. So going a little deeper into like what they feel when they go inside the building. So this kind of abstract diagram show that like the janitors feeling like they're getting smaller once they get closer to the building, meaning like they are not really belong to the place. While the banker, when they're home, they are quite like small. They don't feel like they are not really belong to somewhere else. But when they got the building, the architecture itself will make them like very like become like bigger, meaning like the architecture becomes to emphasize the existence of them. And going back to like considering the site as a financial district, I go to see the development of bank architecture. From the beginning, the bank architecture is like derived the idea of like using the classical elements to emphasize the idea of stability and the reliability of the bank. Because in the past, people have to like deposit their money and they go in the bank. So basically, all the assets will be keep in the bank. So the architecture itself have to like really reflect the idea of the stability for them. But nowadays, we are not really use the actual money. We are more like using the credit, the check, and also like the electronic system. So in that sense, the transformation of the bank architecture is going to be like more transparent and become like more accessible. Because during the time that they use this form of architecture, the research found that the bank itself is not accessible for everyone. Like people feel like they feel like they are not comfortable to go into the bank because of the solid structure and the thickness of the wall. So that's why like they try to make it more transparent and more like accessible when the arrival of the new construction technology like the glass building and the steel construction. So considering like about going back to the idea with the conflict between two different kind of people in the site. So in 2011, there is the famous protest event called Occupy Wall Street at the site. So it's talking about two different kind of people, like 99% and 1%. So 1% is more like the rich people who have the power to control the whole system, and the 99% is like the rest of the people who like have like they become like the majority of people, but they cannot like access anything, they cannot control anything, and they don't have right to do anything with the system. So this kind of illustration, they talk about the idea of like that were done by the protester that reflect like what they feel and how can they react to like this kind of like injustice in the system. So my kind of idea is like now the existing condition is that the red one is the building, the black one is a public plaza. Now they kind of like separate like without any kind of like connection or visual interaction between like two different like separate group of people. So my idea is that trying to integrate like both of them into the plaza to have some kind of interaction will eventually solve the idea of like social disparity in the site. So I decided to integrate the new kind of program called TownBank into the site. So basically TownBank is like the idea of like using the new currency it's a new typology of the banking system. So instead of using the money, we're using time as a new currency. So by using time as new currency, there's no social disparity between the rich and the poor, right? So the idea of the time bank is that if you help people 1 hour, people will help you 1 hour. So it's more like the idea of time bank kind of creates some kind of like social interaction. So by addressing this idea to the side, people will begin to interact between like the rich and the poor without any concern about how much you have in your account. So how the time bank operates that if you become the user of the time bank, you just call someone to request for your help, and you just like use your credit, like time credit, and then they will help you back. So it's very simple as that. And this kind of system have like used in like different countries around the world as well. So it's not just a conceptual idea anymore, but it's like an idea we use everywhere in several contexts. So the idea, how can it create like different kind of interaction, right? There are like 4 different kind of interaction in the time bank: one-to-one, one-to-many, many-to-one, and many-to-many. One-to-one is like I request B to teach me about math. It's kind of like one-to-one interaction. One-to-many is like I was requested by you guys to do some kind of lecture. So this kind of interaction is like one-to-many. And many-to-one is like I request someone to build a house for me, like 10 people build a house for me. And many-to-many is like 2 different group of people doing some kind of collaboration, like performance together. So talking about the comparing the idea of time bank and conventional bank circulation, so how like this kind of thing created the interaction, right? So when normally when you go to the bank, they will force you to go into the line, like the linear circulation. So by going like into the linear circulation, you are not allowed to do any kind of like that much like interaction, because you only talk to the one who like behind you or in front of you. But the idea of time is that gathering people, by gathering people, it kind of like encourage the users to have this interaction with someone around you. I think that's the idea of the time bank. But going more with the study of like my my script and my computation with the architecture, I study about how different forms from the script create like different type of architecture, like this one. Like the aggregation of the script suggests like 2 different kinds of panel here and panel here. And you can see that there's some kind of like transparency here to like allow some kind of interaction. And this kind of space is very good for having a cafe, because it has some kind of set of interior and exterior in this building. So there's also a flow and set of tray showing here. So it kind of like encourage two different kind of interaction, like one-to-one interaction and one-to-one visual interaction as well. So this kind of example of how the idea of like the time bank and my study of aggregated script will be used in the 140 baud way to solve the idea of like the social disparity in the site. Because of the, when you're talking about the financial district, it's more like the idea of capitalism, but the idea of the time bank is about the idea of locality. It's like informal gathering activity that creates some sort of like a small community space. So in that sense, the community space kind of create a finite grain of the social structure inside the various solid kind of like larger scale of the industry. So I think by addressing the finite grain of the social structure into the idea of capitalism, we create like diverse form of like social structure into the site. So that might not be the only solution for the site, but I think that would be another way to improve like what's going on there. Like it's not about architecture that's trying to help or solve the existing problem, but it's more like architecture that brings the consciousness or bring the notion for the people who live into the site. So that's like my intention for the project.